Hello and welcome back to the Product Discovery Series. My name is Cole Nebaker and today we will be showcasing the Red Pedestal Controller by PDK. The Red Pedestal is a weatherproof two-door controller that allows for flexible and scalable access control installations in outdoor applications, such as gated communities, parking garages, and storage facilities. The Red Pedestal comes with two reader inputs, supporting Wiegand or OSDP protocols in a scan-in and scan-out application. Additionally, each port on the controller comes with one DPS and one REX input, allowing it tie into a position sensor and request-to-exit device, such as an induction loop. Additionally, the board comes with two relays, a power input, and battery leads. The pedestal controller comes standard in two communication varieties, Ethernet and wireless. The PoE expansion module can also be added to the Ethernet Red Pedestal to allow for simplified installation in cases where power may not be available at the gooseneck. To prevent necessitating trenching to the gate, the wireless variant may be preferable. Along with its plug-and-play functionality and self-discovery, installation is a breeze. The stainless steel enclosure mounts seamlessly to a gooseneck while maintaining full weatherproofing. The ruggedized, durable nature of the Red Pedestal controller makes it ideal for applications in harsh environments or high-traffic areas. For optimized customization, choose from a variety of PDK readers to mount onto the enclosure. Your options might include the feature-rich red readers, or the vandal-proof push-button reader, or the sleek ruggedized line of readers by PDK. PDK offers a wide range of enclosures and controller sizes to allow unmatched versatility and scalability. So when you're looking for an outdoor access control solution, look no further than the Red Pedestal by PDK.
PDK Consulting specializes in commercial and residential operations, everything from custom IT solutions for businesses such as access control, surveillance systems, gate operators, to audio-video solutions for restaurants and enterprise. We specialize in IT infrastructure and design. The infrastructure is a heart of our systems, a heart of our company at that point. We believe in a solid foundation makes everything else better for the end users. So we try to install some of the latest and greatest technologies from that forefront. MK Consulting is actually relatively new to the access control scene. We just started about 4 years ago. We partnered with a phenomenal distributor who introduced us to PDK. And so we fell in love with PDK, and that's the only access control system that we install. We believe in relationships with our vendors, partners, much the same way ProData and PDK does.
I think it's important for IT companies to install access control because there is a little bit of network know-how involved, as well as when it comes to the structured wiring side. You need to know what kind of cables you're going to use, but I think generally speaking, I think it just makes sense for an IT company to do it. I love working with PDK because it's very easy to set up through using discovery tabs and things like that. It kind of does the work for you, which makes it very easy for somebody new that we're training to use PDK, as well as somebody who's done it for a while.
Being able to discover a red controller with your phone was just huge. So what we would be able to do is plug it in, plug power into it, use our phone, adopt that red controller immediately, name it, discover it, add those readers so we could test pretty much in the field live through our cellular phone. PDK's alert systems are fantastic. You can generate reports based on if an individual reader goes down or an individual controller goes down, if there's an error in communication loss. It lets us know that when we roll a truck out to the site, what specific door it is. When you have an environment like this, it has 61 doors. It's a lot to be able to have to go door to door. Here, we can go straight to an individual door based on those reports. My background was actually software development, and I've written software off of APIs before. So for me, seeing the usage of it right now is fantastic. Integrations just allow the customers to have a better experience at the end of the day. So you can add in new features, technology sets onto it. In a closed environment, you can. So by having more integrations, it gives them more features and comfort sets. Without that, it shows that a company is not willing to integrate with new and exciting partners. So we continue to work with PDK every day because the sales team is great, the support staff is quick and responsive, and the product is solid and reliable. We actually spend more time doing new installs than we do service calls or anything else. That, along with a phenomenal distributor that gets us the product in a quick turnaround time, it's just the reason we chose PDK.
Hello and welcome to the feature series. Today we will be discussing MapView and how to configure it in the ProData Key app. Let's get started. As the easiest to use access control platform, PDK has several features designed to make management of your access control system easier and more intuitive. One of these features is the map view, which allows you to upload an overhead image, blueprint, or screenshot of your site to the ProData Key app and overlay with interactable doors, elevators, alarms, and other such devices. This allows easy access to review, monitor, and make any adjustments necessary to ensure the integrity and security of your site at a glance. To get started, navigate to the States page in the ProData Key app and select the drop-down menu at the top. Select Map View in the right-hand corner to create your first map using the Add Map View button. From here, follow the directions on your screen by following the Setup wizard. You will select an image of the site, after which you can edit and adjust the image to your liking. Once you have edited the image, you will name the map and select Finish. You will then be redirected to edit mode, where you can add any doors and devices applicable to the image you have just uploaded. Tools in the Pro Data Key app allow you to add links, additional devices, and adjust the size of the icons. Simply drag the icons into the appropriate location and select Save. To make managing multiple sites easy, link multiple maps together using the linking feature in the software. This can be used if you want to quickly toggle between sites, floors, or views of a location. After your map view has been created, you can manipulate doors and view door statuses directly within a visual representation of your site. You can interact with these doors, elevators, and other devices individually or as a group in the same manner as you would on the states page. The map view gives you a better way to monitor and control your access control system, the easy way, with PDK. Hello and welcome to the Product Discovery Series. My name is Cole Nebaker, and today we will be talking about the Red Max with PDK's built-in Red Series advanced technology. Let's get started. The Red Max is a highly scalable device that allows you to control access for up to 24 doors from a single centralized location. This allows you to build a job site to your specifications with opportunities to build either an enterprise solution or future expansion. It comes with two Altronics 12-volt 10-amp power supplies and two Red 4 boards. It has 8 reader inputs, 8 DPS inputs, 8 REX inputs, and 8 wet or dry relays, as well as battery leads. The Red Max is a completely customizable controller, allowing you to scale PDK systems with maximum efficiency. It comes with 4 universally compatible expansion slots that can be populated with any Red expander board, including the R1E, the R2E, the R4E, or the A8E, up to 24 total doors. This means you could have anywhere from 8 to 24 ports available for use. Like all other PDK Red products, these PDK Red controllers are OSDP compatible for ultra-high security data encryption and enhanced performance. With plug-and-play connectivity, you can also attach a PoE module for seamless power and communication. One of the prominent features of the Red Max is the 2 Altronics power supplies with built-in overvoltage protection, fire relays, and battery terminals. All of this, combined with PDK's power monitoring capabilities, provides an unparalleled level of power management and safety. Like every other Red controller, each of the controllers in the Red Max will automatically discover in PDK-IO via IPv6 when the Ethernet cables are plugged in. This is done using PDK's self-discovery feature. With the combination of the Altronics power supplies and the ability to control 24 doors from a single cohesive enclosure, the Red Max is ideal for scaling large to enterprise-style sites, but really, the Red Max can control any site of any size. So when you're looking for a cutting-edge device that allows you to install with the ultimate flexibility, look no further than the Red Max by PDK.
Well, welcome to the National Corvette Museum. We are here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which has been the home of Corvettes since 1981. So the mission of the National Corvette Museum is to really celebrate everything around Corvette, America's sports car, and to do that through the education, collection, and preservation of its legacy. The National Corvette Museum is undertaking the process to become accredited by the American Association of Museums. As part of that, securing the collection, securing the building is really one of the key factors that they examine when they're going through that accreditation process.
We have approximately 70 acres. We have multiple buildings, including the National Corvette Museum itself, this building. We have a collections building. We also have a storage facility off-site, and we also have the motorsports park across the interstate there. The reason we have strong security is because, first off, our staff and guests are important. We want to make sure their safety is paramount every day. We also have a very vast and diverse collection. We have thousands of artifacts. We have pieces that are on loan from private individuals that are very, very valuable and important to them, and they entrust their care of those artifacts and cars to us. So we take security very seriously here at the National Corvette Museum.
They were really concerned about security both now and then into the future. So what makes PDK really nice is, especially in a building like this where you have add-ons that came later, you have places that are really inaccessible to run new lines. You know, we can utilize PoE if it's a short run to a network room. We can utilize the WiMAC when we simply can't run wires and we just have to get power. So it's been really successful for us, especially here.
Initially, it was installed in mostly our administrative space, all of our exterior doors. That was phase one. Phase two, we went a little bit deeper into the building with some collection spaces and another building. And then phase three of adding another 43 doors to our facility here. We have different departments, different levels of access. Marketing doesn't need the same access as our curators do. Security has the highest level of access through all facilities. When we have groups that use rentable spaces that we have access control on, we have guest and visitor badges. We even have contractor badges, so we can identify when we have a contractor in the building and we need to give them access to certain areas so they can go do their work and take care of stuff for the museum.
PDK has significantly helped us improve security as well as processes here at the National Corvette Museum. First off, by really just securing the collection, giving us that peace of mind that the vehicles that we own, the vehicles that people are entrusting in our care, are constantly being monitored, and that we always know where every staff and guest is, as well as the vehicles.
PDK has helped improve our security through reducing our dependency on physical keys, the ease of use when it comes to onboarding new employees, issuing credentials. Very simple, very easy to use. We're just very, very pleased with the system, and overall, 3 phases, we've managed to make this building and our other ones 10 times more secure than they ever were before.
Welcome to PDK's Product Discovery Series. My name is Cole Nebeker, and today we are going to be talking about the Red Gate controller with PDK's built-in Red Series advanced technology. Let's get started. The Red Gate controller is an outdoor-capable, weatherproof device that has the ability to provide controlled access to any exterior gate for either commercial or residential properties, parking garages, and more. The Red Gate controller gives you the ability to build a system regardless of the environment in which it may be mounted and installed. It comes with a Red 2 door controller, including 2 reader inputs, 2 DPS inputs, 2 Rex inputs, 2 wet or dry relays, and battery leads for a 1.2 amp hour battery, all enclosed in the weatherproof NEMA enclosure. Like the Red 2 controller, the Red Gate controller also includes the capability to come Ethernet, PoE capable, or wireless capable as well. However, unlike the Red 2, the Gate controller comes pre-built in either Ethernet or wireless formats, though the option to expand using the PoE module is still an option with the Ethernet model. Simply purchase a PoE expansion module and snap it onto the PoE pins as you typically would. Like every other Red controller, the Red Gate controller will automatically self-discover using PDK.io's discovery tool. Similar to other PDK Red products, these PDK Red Gate controllers are OSDP compatible for ultra-high security data encryption and enhanced performance. The Red Gate controller has built-in power, battery, and network monitoring, providing real-time status updates and reliability in any environment. With the weatherproof NEMA enclosure, efficient sizing, and superior capabilities with its integrated 2-door or 2-gate controller, there is no outdoor application that the Gate controller cannot handle. So, when you're looking for a cutting-edge device that allows you to install with increased flexibility, look no further than the Red Gate controller by PDK. and welcome to the Feature Highlight Series. My name is Cole Nebeker, and today we are going to be talking about the System and Health Insight feature. Let's get started. The System and Health Dashboard is a crucial tool to assist integration partners with diagnosing, monitoring, and troubleshooting PDK systems in real time. It offers networking information, real-time power statuses, and system warnings. It also provides tools such as Restart Controller to allow for remote remedies. You can find the System and Health Dashboard in the States tab by clicking on the drop-down menu, where you will be able to view every controller's in-depth status all on one page. No configuration is necessary to set up this feature. It will automatically generate when a system is created. The new System and Health Dashboard is entirely customizable and optimized to bring the devices with problems to the top, making it easy to see and respond to the highest priority issues. This feature will be crucial for systems that have multiple cloud nodes. Add filters to see only the devices of interest. Expand or collapse devices under each site, or use the search bar to find specific cloud nodes or controllers. From the main dashboard, a widget provides a quick overview of the system's current state. If any devices have issues, such as a disconnect or sync error, a warning will be displayed so that you can take immediate action. Additional information is available under table options, including the connection type, software version, battery, timestamp for the last full sync, and time left in continuity. The System and Health feature gives you access to critical information that can save you time, truck rolls, and headaches. Instead of having to go on-site to identify an issue, you may be able to fix the problem remotely with System and Health, giving you a better way to monitor and control your access control system, the easy way, with PDK. All right. Had a little bit of a stutter there with the camera. Welcome in, everyone. Today we are going to be having another access control coaching session. This one is going to be on live events and reporting. My name is Cole Nebeker. I'm the Training and Events Manager for PDK. As always, be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of this content. This stuff is very valuable, even for those who are very seasoned with PDK. Be sure to leave comments in the live chat, as I will be checking them intermittently, although not during the broadcast. Brock distracted me last time I was on here. So be sure to leave questions and comments in the broadcast, and we will cover those at the end of the broadcast. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting with live events. So here's our live event screen. We just have a single event here just to help us focus in on the different components of it. So you'll notice basic details are given of the live event. We have the timestamp, and that will be time zone sensitive. So if this happened in Central Time, it will display in Central Time, as an example. It will also show you the location it happened at, specifically if you have a multi-site setup. If you do have a picture for the person, that person's mugshot will appear right there. We also have the person's name. Rick Sanchez has requested access to the device IT room. Access denied because the person is currently not enabled. Person used card for requesting access. So it gives us all of the basics of the event that occurred, but we're going to dive in and actually get more granular with it and go into the debug mode. This is going to show us some details that we may not be able to see right at a first glance. So getting into debug mode, you can see there are actually two stamps, for lack of a better word. There are two events that populate for each event that populates on the more visually pleasing interface. So the first one is going to be your input and user details, and we're going to go through what each of these numbers and words and indicators mean. All right, so starting, we have our device ID. That is going to be the system identifier. So if you punch that device ID into the URL, that'll actually redirect you to the device in question. Same thing with the holder ID, except that pertains to the person. We also have the request factor, which was card only, and our card number, which was the number that was used to request access. So Rick Sanchez's, if I can talk, his ID number is 1163, and the facility code is 0. There is no facility code configured on this system, so it just defaults to 0. If you do have a facility code and you are requiring facility codes, it will populate with that number right there. So this is where you will go actually to identify a facility code number if you don't have the original box of credentials or you have otherwise misplaced your facility codes. Our credential ID is another system identifier. Again, that goes in the URL, redirects you to the credential ID, and then we've got the explicit true and the disabled true. So the explicit indicates that somebody was explicitly allowed or denied access, typically with the enabled and disabled icon in a person's profile. The disabled user status is listed as enabled or disabled, true or false. And so again, that is going to show us whether a person or whether a user is enabled or disabled. For our holder, you'll notice these are all in brackets. So for our holder, the ID is going to be the system identifier for the credential holder. The name is going to be the user readable name of the credential holder. And enabled is going to be that credential holder's activation status. Our active and expiration date is going to be the dates configured in a credential holder's profile. And since we have not configured this, it's going to show null for both of those. And finally, we've got our device ID, we've got our device name, our device port, and our device connection. So the ID, again, that URL stamp with the gibberish of letters and numbers. We've got the credential input device name, which is going to be the IT room, and that is designated as port 1 on the following connection, and it shows us the connection identifier. Then, of course, we've got our timestamp, which is system readable of when the input occurred. Now, going up to the next one, this is going to be the output in the system details. So our cloud node identifier is that gibberish right there. We've got the serial number, the 1074X82, that is the cloud node serial number that this occurred on, and its name is the PDK corporate office. The info is the text that appears in the information bar outside of debug mode. So you can see that it reads in the exact same way as what we saw on the more visually pleasing interface. We've got the occurred timestamp, again, system readable, and we've got the topic of what event occurred. In this case, it was a device.request denied. For our placeholders, we've got the text ID and type. So the text is going to be the person that input the credentials, the ID is going to be the person's profile ID, and the type is the person's type within the system. So in this case, Rick Sanchez, he is a holder. The next bit is going to be our text where the device where the credentials were input, the device for the system ID, and the entity type as well. And finally, you can see that we had the photo there at the end. So that's your live events. It'll be pretty straightforward to read them when they're in not debug mode. I don't know what the proper term for that is. I've just been calling it visually pleasing interface because it certainly is easier to read than debug mode. But debug mode gives you a few valuable inputs that you can use when you're diagnosing a system, or perhaps lots of times when I saw people using that, it was when they were trying to find the credential number or they were trying to find the facility code. So you can use some of that information to your benefit. Now we're going to jump into reports now. So getting started with the browser, we're going to jump into the customer's interface here. We're going to navigate to reports where we have our 3 reports: people, credentials, and events. We're going to start with people, where we can come to the bottom right, hit the plus button, and of course we are going to name our report. So We have, I guess I should clarify before I get too far into this, the way that our reporting system works is you are going to add a filter or a series of filters in conjunction with each other to reach a desired outcome. So I'm going to walk you through the filters that we have available for a people report, and you're welcome to use one, two, or multiple of these. So the first one is first name, which of course is pretty self-explanatory. But then we also have things like last names, emails, groups, which are going to be the rule access groups that people are associated with, the card numbers associated with people and their facility codes, partitions, mobile credentials, and enabled. So we can add one, two, multiples of these, and then we can select a contains function, does not contain, equals, or does not equal. And then all we need to do is input the first name. In this case, we input the first name, and we can choose to make it case sensitive, and we can either do contains X value, or we can do equals X value, and then we hit apply. So if we're looking for a very particular person, let's say Cole Nebeker, I am going to add in a first name of Cole, and I would presumably do equals Cole, because I know how to spell the full bit of my name. And then also, if there's multiple Coles in the system, I may also choose to add a last name filter where the last name equals Nebeker. Then all we need to do is select the output, and these are going to be the details of the report. I typically select all of these, but going through them, the person ID is going to be that jumble of letters and numbers that we saw in live events. That's going to be the URL redirect of the person. We've got the first name and last name. We've got cards, groups, emails, Bluetooth credentials, and we have both Bluetooth credentials and pending Bluetooth credentials, as well as mobile app credentials, as well as pending. So again, Bluetooth are going to be the present to open credentials, whereas mobile app are going to be the tap to open credentials. We've got enabled, PIN, duress PIN, partition, active and expiration date, and then custom fields. We can also just hit unselect all or select all. Like I said, I usually select all because in my opinion, it's never a bad thing to have too much information. But you can see, since I left the filters blank, it pulled everybody in the system. Now, the preview function that I just selected is only going to show us the first 50 people in the system. This applies for all reports. So you can see quite an assortment of people in here, as well as some of their pending Bluetooth credentials, their groups, their email addresses, and so forth. We can then hit save, and then we go down to submit. When we hit submit, which I'm not going to do on this report in particular, we're going to be redirected to the retrieve reports screen. That'll look like this. All of the reports have one of these screens. We're going to have a search bar function which allows us to view the reports just on our browser or our mobile device. Or we can view the info, which is going to show us who submitted the report, how big the report is, which filters were used, what the date was, and so forth. We also have a download icon, which allows us to download in JSON, HTML, or CSV. HTML is effectively PDF, CSV is effectively Excel format. And then it will show us some other details, such as the submitted date, the name of the report, the submitter, and the quantity of people in the report. All right, now going back to reports, we're going to navigate over to credentials, create a new one. We're once again going to name this. You only need to name it if you're going to save it, otherwise you don't need to really. We're going to select a partition, which I didn't show in the first report, but is sometimes important if you only want to retrieve a report for a select partition in the system. And you'll notice it has a very similar format to the people report, with the exception that this is going to have different filters, and it, instead of contains, does not contain, equal, or does not equal, we have one of or not one of, since we are selecting credential numbers. So we've got our credential numbers where we can select specific credential numbers. We've got credential type, which is going to be card, Bluetooth, or mobile app. We have facility code, which will populate all of the facility codes we have in our system. We have creation date, which we can select from a date, a last scan date, and credential status, which will be enabled, disabled, implicit, pending redemption, or invitation expired. So your enabled is going to be your standards, your disabled is going to be disabled, your pending redemption is going to be mobile credentials, pending that they accept it through their through their email invite, and then invitation expired occurs after 72 hours of them not having accepted their mobile credential. Once we have our series of cross filters, you'll see that our defaults are a little bit different as well. We've got credential number, credential type, first name and last name. Again, I usually select all, but you have everything from credential ID, which is that gibberish of numbers and letters. We've got the credential number, the facility code, the credential type, in other words, the type of credential that the person is using, the credential status, the person ID, the person's first name or last name, the creation date, the last scan date, and the last scan details. If we hit add on all those and hit preview, you're going to once again see a preview of 50 pop-ups in here. It's going to show us all of their details. If you do want to see additional details, you can hit scan details there on the right, and it will show you some additional last scan details. And then we, of course, hit submit and save. Come back to the credentials page, and we navigate once again to that retrieve report screen that I showed you previously. Finally, going over to events, this is going to be the most comprehensive report, and it's going to take a little bit of time here to cover everything, so buckle up. Once again, name it, select a partition. Now our filters, the key difference here is that these filters are going to encompass everything about the system. And unlike the others, it actually defaults in occurred date inside of here. So the first thing that defaults is the occurred date of today. We can select that and select a different time frame, and it can either be a general time frame, such as today, yesterday, last week, last month, this week, this month, or a custom time period, in which case we can select after, before, or a range of dates, just like so. Now, once we have our occurred date situated, as the report currently stands, it is going to show us everything that has happened today. If we want to add a cross filter, we're going to come in and select a different type of filter. So we've got our occurred date already populated. Now we have the opportunity to select event, result, devices, persons, groups, and connections. So going through each of these, events has quite a lot. It has several dozen events that we record. Again, the filter within the filter is either one of or not one of. So dependent on whether you know what you're looking for or not, you will select one of those. Going through these, there's a lot. All right, auto open enabled and disabled. That is going to be whether an auto open schedule is enabled or disabled on the system. Credentials input, were credentials input on the system. Open and close DPS, so the door position sensor, was it opened or was it closed? The request to exit, was it opened or was it closed? Propped alarm, was it enabled or propped alarm, was it cleared? Or in the case you want to do an all prop clear rule, you can select when all the prop doors on the system have been cleared. We have our forced alarm, communication loss, and communication loss cleared. So that means that the communication to the controller was either lost or restored. Our controller time can either be unknown or known. It's unusual for controller time to become unknown, but it can happen, especially in instances of long communication loss. So you can be notified, or rather you can have a report tell you when that time became unknown. You can see if there was a known person event, no person associated with credentials, so the credentials were swiped, but there was no person associated with them. Access was denied. Access was allowed on multi-swipe, or just plain access was allowed. So really the key difference between those two is whether multi-swipe was involved. We have duress pin entered. We have e-card allowed and e-card denied, so those are your emergency cards that you configure under configuration. Were those input and were they allowed? Any duress pin entered, we've got three important ones. Entity added, modified, and removed. I don't think these get enough emphasis for how important they are. If there is ever any input into the system, there's going to be either an entity added, modified, or removed. So that is the filter, or those are the filters that you will use if there is ever a software configuration change that you need to pull an audit trail of. We have open lock and close lock. That'll be the relay itself. Was it opened or closed? Try to open. Try to open for some time. I think that one's kind of amusing how specific that is. We've got do not disturb. Was it enabled? We have a force toggle if it was enabled. A force alarm clear. A card scan error. We have virtual credentials inputs. We've got delay, open, close, and, sorry, I read those too fast. Delay open, delay close, and open/close. Those are going to be your lock statuses, whether they were delayed open, delayed closed, or open/closed, typically as at the result of a system event. Overcurrent detected and cleared. So if you receive too much current in, you can have it detect that and clear it, or have it be cleared. Typically some sort of system event, once again, can be configured to notify you in real time. We've got overcurrent and under voltage detected. We've got input power connected and disconnected. Though that does require a battery, the battery will need to be the one that allows power to continue going to the controller so it can report in the first place why it lost communication. We've got low power mode on and off, battery connected and disconnected, and then we've got controller restarted, controller factory reset, continuity expired, which means that the time frame configured within the system settings for continuity has expired, and now E-cards are being used. And then we have circuit breakers on and off. Circuit breakers are not going to be pertaining to power. That's going to be pertaining to system inputs on the A and B terminals. If there's more than I believe the number is 40. I see Ryan's here in the chat. He can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's 40 inputs in less than 30 seconds. The circuit breaker trips, typically assuming that there's some sort of short with the inputs. And then we've got anti-passback violations, anti-passback clears, and credential reset. Ooh, Nelly, there's a lot of those. All right, so those are your events. You can add one or multiples of those. And then when you add them in conjunction with today, with the occurred date of today, you can say every time today, for example, that an entity was added, modified, or removed. And now you have a more specific report. You also have results, which are the results of the events. So you've got your standards. You've got known person, no person associated with credentials, access denied, access allowed on multi-swipe, access allowed, send email, do not disturb, a relay force toggle, force open or force close, open or close. And then we've got lockdown on, lockdown off, delay open, delay close, open/close, card scan filtered, and things of that nature. So these are going to be the results of some sort of system event that has occurred on the system. Going down to devices, we can select the specific device that we want to filter off of. So maybe we'll want to see everything that happened today on Cafe West. We select Cafe West and hit apply, and now it'll show us every time today that something happened at Cafe West. So you can see we've got a list of our locations here. We can select exact devices and filter exclusively based off of those. Maybe I just select the equipment supply and front gate as the only two applicable devices for my report. I don't care about what happened at the other locations. I care about what happened at St. George at the equipment supply entrance and the front gate. Moving on to persons. These will be your people. This is slightly different from a people report. People reports are going to show you specific things about a person's profile, whereas events reports can show you things that happened on the system pertaining to a person. So maybe we want to see every device that Tommy A, is that what that says? Yeah, Tommy A right there. We want to see everything that he's done today at a specific location. It also has a filter bar, so I can select Cole Nebeker, for example. He's kind of suspect. We want to see everything that he has done today at the St. George location at those two entrances that we highlighted earlier. So this is another way that you can whittle down the reports to get exactly what you need. Then we have cards, which are going to show you card numbers. Once again, kind of different from a credentials report. Instead of just showing you credential details, it'll show you where the credentials tied in the system itself, maybe where they were input and where it'll show a more comprehensive audit trail of these credentials. All right, so we're selecting a few credentials here. Then we go down to connections, and you can see all of the connections themselves. Now, these will be named whatever you name them. So you may have onboard controller, or you may have a MAC address kind of like this. I've chosen to go through and name a few of them. I haven't named all of them on this system. But these will be the connections themselves, whether there was maybe a communication loss associated with them. If they were disconnected somehow, this is going to be the audit trail we use for that. Then we've got our groups, and our groups are going to be the access groups associated with the system that we're looking to view reports associated with. So I can select a few groups here. Maybe I want to see what all the IT team was up to or what the all access group was up to. I can select that group. All right, and that is all of our filters. There's only, a billion of them, but that's what makes this so powerful is you can, once you get the feel for these filters, you can come through and pick the appropriate ones and cross-filter them to reach a very specific outcome. Ideally, what you want to achieve is a report that has maybe a couple dozen to a couple hundred events in it. As it currently stands, this report would show us everything that's happened today because I don't want to create one specific report and narrow this coaching session down to just that kind of report. But you typically wouldn't just do an occurred date of today and call it a day. That's a lot of events, especially dependent on the size of your facility. I mean, if you've just got a little one-door facility, maybe you have a dozen workers coming in and out of it, maybe it's manageable. But once you start getting to really large enterprise-style applications, you really need to add a series of cross-filters to get the exact outcome of a report that you're looking for. So our outputs, we're going to have the following outputs available to us. Again, just select everything. I think it's just great to have all the details, unless you just need specific details like the event or the result. And then you hit preview. So you can see I filmed this yesterday, which was Labor Day. Is it Labor Day? Yeah, that's what yesterday was. I filmed this yesterday, so there wasn't a whole lot of access on this report, but it kind of gives you an idea. You can see some events, some results, the timestamps. I'm going to click here on the details. So if we do click on the details, it'll show us things like the person's name. It'll show you that gibberish of numbers and letters, the identifiers of redirects. We've got the device name. We've got the cloud node serial number, the name, the card number, so many details. So in terms of the most comprehensive report, if you really need all the details, you'll probably pull an events report. The other ones are useful for auditing purposes and being able to see details about a particular person or credential. Events reports are going to show you everything. Then we just go ahead and we hit submit. I'm going to come back to this page right here and go to retrieve reports. You can see a few examples, and you can see exactly why it's so important to add a series of cross filters. You can see a little further down on the page there, Benji pulled an all-time events report, which is large, 2 million events. That is too many for any one person to filter through. And sure, it's useful if you have your own filtering software you want to run it through. But if you're just looking to use this interface to its full capacity, you'll ideally whittle it down. In fact, none of these are really even very small. But you would whittle it down to the exact desired outcome, at which point you can view the report by clicking on view. It'll look just like this. Or you can you can view the info, which will look like this. And then of course you can download the report as a JSON, an HTML, or a CSV as well. It'll show you the submitted date, it'll show you the name of the report, the submitter, and the event count. So it's kind of hard to compress all of reports down into 30 minutes, and I understand that's probably like drinking from a fire hose. but hopefully that gives you a better idea of the purpose of each of the reports and gives you a better idea of what each of the filters do. We do, of course, have Ryan who maintains our knowledge base, and he has a comprehensive description of what each of the report filters does. And again, since there's a lot, it's not uncommon. I sometimes forget what some of the reports do, and so I even reference that knowledge base. So I encourage you to reference that article in the knowledge base, especially if you're pulling a particularly complex report. But the premise of reporting is very simple. It's just designed to give you many filter criteria to create the exact report that you need. So, getting into comments. Throwing Brock under the bus, absolutely. I'll take any opportunity to do that. Ryan's giving me sass. Anyways, the overcurrent, not the overcurrent, the circuit breaker. There we go. The circuit breaker is 40 events on a device within 30 seconds. Just assuming that there is a short on the device to protect it. Any other questions? Put them in your comments now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Tom, can I assign others on my team to be able to only create reports and view live events? Absolutely. That'll be done with the reporting permission. Struggling with words today. It's basically Monday because it is Tuesday, but you know we had yesterday off. It's a whole deal. So yes. Reporting permissions. Just add them as a reporter in the software, and they will be able to view the live events and the reporting tab. If you do need to narrow it down even further, you can add them to a partition that only has access to a certain group of people or set of people or set of doors, whatever the case is that you want. Okay? No other questions? All right. Well, if you do have any other questions, you can always reach out to the sales team. They are at sales@prodadakey.com, or you can call them 801-317-8802, and they'd be happy to help you out as well. Again, since this is more of an overview of reports, I know that there are probably some specific reports that you are interested in seeing. Just reach out to the sales team or the support team for that matter, and they'll help you pull a very specific report that you need. Oh, we do have one more question. I'm not seeing any live events in my live events. How do I enable this? Well, it'll depend. It could be a combination of factors. It could be there's no live events coming through. It could be you're not part of the appropriate partition, so you're not seeing the real-time live events coming through because you don't have the permissions to. Yeah, I guess it could really be a few factors. So reach out to either the sales team or the tech support team. They can help you out with that. All right, that's it. So we'll catch you at the next access control coaching session, which is the first Tuesday of every month. The first Tuesday of every month. Jordan is here to keep me in line. All right, that's it. We'll catch you next time.